Welcome back to the Crypto Trends Podcast, where we cover all things cryptocurrency, blockchain, Web 3.0, and AI. I'm Robert Croak, joined by my co-host, Armando Pantoja. Both of us and our amazing team are excited to bring you the best information, guidance, and strategies each and every Wednesday. So follow along and always remember to take notes and take action. Today in the episode, we're going to cover these three topics. Number one, the SEC's latest crackdown. Number two, Solana's game changer. And number three, what could be the biggest move in crypto history? Okay, let's get into talking point number one. Is the crypto world crumbling? And what does the latest SEC crackdown mean for crypto in general? Armando, with the SEC ramping up its legal battles against major crypto platforms like Robinhood, what do you think this signals for the crypto ecosystem? And should we be fearful, or do you think this is just more posturing by the SEC?
Yeah, I said something yesterday on one of my lives. I said that you never hear about SEC action, threats of bans, anything like that in the bear market. It's always when crypto goes up, we hear these things, right? I think that what this means is that they're going to try to increase that regulatory framework around crypto. And it's a strong, strong signal to the community and ensuring compliance of crypto operations within the existing security laws. Robinhood tries to say that their assets aren't securities, right? Because they also do stocks. So they said, the crypto, the Bitcoin, Ethereum that we trade and we provide to our people isn't really a security. This clash could cause a slowdown in crypto, or it could prompt deeper regulatory frameworks.
I mean, we've been talking about this for a couple years now, that the SEC and Gary Gensler's little witch hunt here could chase some of the best technologies and companies out of the U.S. altogether. I thought we were over it with the victory with Ripple, but obviously that hasn't been the case. But also I want everyone to make sure, again, to always zoom out and not have knee-jerk reactions, because what you saw in the headlines in the last few days was that Robinhood received a Wells notice. All this is a request for information for them to open up their business for the SEC to go through with them and make sure they're following the rules laid out. And, in my opinion, we still don't know what those rules are. But at the end of the day, the SEC just continues on its charade. So that's something that we just really need to keep an eye on. So
I want to add something here is that me and you both are big fans of XRP, right?
Yep.
So XRP actually has a head. If the SEC continues going after crypto companies, SEC already has a 4 or 5 year head start. So they're going to be ahead of all of these other companies when this broader regulatory framework comes to be in. So that's why I'm still a big fan of XRP. I just wanted to add that in.
Yeah, me too. So many people, many in our peer group, say that XRP is a dead coin and it's not going to go anywhere. And that's just all of the negative news sentiment that's been surrounding Ripple Labs and XRP, the coin. And I just think it's ridiculous, because when you look at the actual adoption, the projects, the partnerships that XRP has, I believe XRP, even in this bull market, once the settlement is reached, could get to $6, $8, $10 in this bull market. So we just have to look at it from a total macro understanding of the market. And, you have to look at, could this very well serve as a precedent for how other crypto firms will integrate with regulations and navigate their operations in the U.S. market, potentially challenging the way cryptocurrencies are perceived by the regulatory authorities. So that was a lot, but let's get into talking point number two. Are you ready for the Solana game changer? So Armando, with Joe McCann highlighting the Fire Dancer update for Solana, which aims to ramp up its transaction capacity significantly, how do you see this impacting Solana's position in the crypto markets as a whole?
Now, this Solana update is huge, right? It's going to be a game changer for many reasons. One is it's going to increase transaction speeds. After the update, Solana will be one of the fastest cryptocurrencies on earth. Two, it's going to position Solana as a much more competitive option in those against those layer one blockchains like Ethereum and also Cardano, right? Especially considering its existing benefits of high throughput and low transaction costs. The third thing is it's a massive boost in capacity, and it's going to pave the way for broader institutional and retail investors.
So before we go into my thoughts on that, Where are you at with Cardano? Do you feel they really have like an identity crisis when it comes to technological advancements? Because so many people ask me on a daily basis in the lives, is Cardano a dead project? I don't really have an answer. I know that Charles does a good job promoting it, but what do you feel about the technology? Are they keeping up? Is it a meaningful project in the future, or has everyone else kind of developed more and left them behind?
Yeah, so with that, I think the main problem with Cardano is they're not keeping up with technology. That always goes back to the developers.
Yep.
The crypto sphere is very competitive when it comes to getting the best developers. The better the projects are run, the more developers want to be part of that project. Cardano's biggest issue right now is they don't have the right developers. They don't have enough developers to move forward, or not enough knowledgeable developers to move forward in this technology that's now we're being, now that like essentially with the Solana update that we're seeing these other blockchains do.
Base network, Solana update. Exactly. There's just so much great stuff.
Update, yes.
Yeah, so there's so much great stuff going on. So, I mean, definitely, and this expansion reflects not just a technical enhancement, but also a strategic one, possibly driving more developers and users towards Solana's ecosystem as crypto continues to evolve. So let's get into talking point number 3. And this one's a little bit scary, but is the crypto world about to change forever? The spotlight on Hong Kong as a gateway for crypto highlights both the financial and geopolitical shifts happening in real time. And if mainland money starts funneling into Hong Kong's crypto ETFs, we're likely to witness not just a financial shift, but potentially broader acceptance of crypto as a legitimate investment vehicle across Asia. Because remember, Asia was severely dragging the United States, India, and some of the other countries because of so many regulations against the cryptocurrencies. So Armando, how significant do you think the implications would be if Bitcoin ETFs are included in the Hong Kong Stock Connect, giving mainland China investors greater access?
Yeah, so if I've been in crypto, and you have too, for over 10 years. And when crypto first started, it was actually more popular in Europe and Asia. It was very few Americans that knew about crypto. I would go to crypto conferences in Europe, in London, in Spain, and Portugal, because there wasn't a lot here back in 2013, 14, and 15. They've always been more accepting of cryptocurrency. And people have been always afraid to do anything here because the SEC has always been so aggressive. But I think this potential is huge, right? It's going to include Bitcoin ETFs in the Stock Connect, and will absolutely transform the crypto and digital asset landscape both in Asia and worldwide. It's going to enable those mainland investors to directly invest in ETFs, possibly leading to a huge influx of capital.
And when do you see, from all of your research and what you're reading, when do you see this happening?
I think it can happen this year.
Okay.
I think that what I think's happened, I think the SEC is doing a huge disservice to the American public because they're literally pushing innovation and pushing one of the biggest technology innovations in the history of the world to overseas, to Europe, to Asia, to some even in Latin America with El Salvador. So if the SEC doesn't straighten up and start accepting the inevitability of cryptocurrency, they're going to cause America to be way behind other countries.
I mean, this could really indeed mark a pivotal moment in the crypto space, potentially driving broader adoption and investment from mainland China into Hong Kong, which is already a vibrant market. So there's something else big on the horizon, and that is $2.4 billion in Bitcoin and ETH options set to expire soon. So how do you think this will impact the overall market volatility, considering where we're at with the markets right now?
Now, there's a huge set of expirations that are out there right now. And normally when something like this happens in stocks or crypto, it will cause short-term volatility on the up or the downside, more than likely on the downside, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's a lot of people in the market don't know what's going on. And anytime there's insecurity or unsure, or people are unsure, markets tend to fall. So historically, we've seen periods like this. We see a short drop, then we see it followed by a very strong recovery in the next days or even weeks. A big part of this is going to be driven by what's called the put to call ratio, right? So for those of you who don't know, a put is an option to sell an asset Call is an option to buy an asset. So a put normally is when you think something's going to go down. Call is when you think it's going to go up. So it's a good indicator of sentiment around a certain coin or even a stock, right? So right now, there's more calls out than puts, right? So the put to call ratio for Bitcoin and Ethereum are currently extremely low for a market like this. This indicates a huge bullish sentiment among traders, and it's actually suggesting that the market is going to rise after this short-term retraction.
Yeah, I think that's a great perspective. And indeed, the low put to call ratio highlights a positive market outlook for traders, which might cushion the volatility that typically comes with such large expiries. So I think that's a good breakdown and really helps our listeners understand the sentiment in the market. Every single day, you and I are both inundated with DMs and people on our lives asking us, oh no, what do we do? And right now, I just feel like for me, it's business as usual. I'm buying crypto every day. I'm dollar cost averaging on all of my, the different projects that we talk about on a weekly basis and a daily basis. And to me, none of that changes because we are investors. We're not looking at the day-to-day price fluctuations as a means to an end to figure out what to do. And I think that's what everyone needs to look at. If we go back a few weeks, I think I talked about there are traders, there are gamblers, and there are investors. We're investors, and we want everyone listening and following along to be investors too. You can be a trader, but we don't want you to be a gambler. And to me, in this market condition, a gambler is someone who is chasing every new coin, hoping for that 100, 200x. And that's a really scary proposition for our followers and our listeners, because every single video they're conditioned to seeing on TikTok and Instagram daily is, this is the next 100 to 200x coin, and it's all clickbait and it's bullshit. And it really bothers me because it hurts so many people. So I struggle with the influencers out there, you know who you are, who put that information out just to get likes and views, because people get hurt by it because they trust them. So please be careful. When in doubt, zoom out and make sure that you're just following really solid people like Armando and myself that are out there to provide you value and great information to the best of our ability.
Yeah, I want to touch on something too, is that me and you in the Crypto Trends podcast on our individual social media platforms, we've talked for months and months and months about there's going to be a drawdown somewhere around the halving. Because why? Because institutions want to get in. And it normally always happens around the halving as miners give up. There's a lot of reasons why it happens. And then it starts to happen, right? Now, you never know what the method that's going to be used to get it done, right? It could be they banned it over here, or the SEC is going to threaten to do this or whatever. It's always some method to get it down so those institutions can get in. So this is all a big game. I don't believe that the SEC has a lot of, they couldn't win against XRP. XRP is the most security-like coin or token that there is. Yeah. So if you can't win against XRP, clearly, you're not going to be able to win against anybody else. I think we just need to, be calm. It normally takes 4 to 7 months. We did analysis 2 weeks ago before the market correct, or before there's a strong recovery, and we go into a strong bull market after the halving. So it's just wait, be calm, dollar cost average in, and everything will be okay.
Okay, so for our first question in this episode, John Baker asks, hey guys, love the podcast. Can I see AI coins rally in May with NVIDIA earnings coming on May 22nd? And to me, John, the answer is yes. I don't think we're anywhere near a bubble in NVIDIA and AI in general. And there's just so much great news happening in the AI space. So I think the coins and the associated stocks like MU, NVIDIA, AMD, Palantir, all are still really good buys, and I think good positions to hold. And even though you're going to see some headlines right now with Mr. Druckenmiller stating that he cut back on his NVIDIA holdings, that's all clickbait to get you guys to follow and have a knee-jerk reaction. So I wouldn't worry about it. AI has a long road to go before I believe it's going to be in a bubble or it's time to sell.
I want to add something here. Last week, I was on a panel with the CEO of Bit Digital and the CTO of Hive, right? And they both said that they're both crypto miners, right? They're going to expand their crypto mining to AI. because AI gives the same returns as crypto mining, more or less. So this is a sign that crypto and AI are starting to merge. So those AI tokens, I said this a year ago when we were on the stock exchange. I said that I think AI tokens are going to be a huge, huge driver of narrative in this next cycle. And I think that eventually that's going to be one of the strongest use cases of cryptocurrency outside of Bitcoin.
Yeah, and the next question comes from Mark, and he asks, what are our thoughts about the ASI coin coming out and the merger with Fetch AI, AGIX, and Ocean Protocol? I think it's a great merger. What do I think the price action is going to be? No one really knows. We could see a pullback on it because all of a sudden you take three great projects, merging them into one in the AI space. So we could see a drawback and then return to a really strong future for that project. But Armando, what are your thoughts for ASI?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea to merge them together because then there's not so many conflicting coins, conflicting ideas, and most of all, they can work together. Now, when you have 3 separate, 4 separate, 5 separate companies all working, they all have to work independently.
Right.
But now if you put all of those minds in once, they work together as a unit, like a centipede. If all its legs move in the same direction, it can move a lot faster than all of them moving independently. So I think ASI is an amazing, amazing approach to solving this big AI problem that exists in the world right now. And I think it's going to be a great coin going forward in the future.
Yeah, and for those of you that are unsure, from everything I've read, the ASI coin should be going live in the next few days. So look for it. We'll make sure to keep you posted on it because we love the project and we think it's going to do really well in the future. The last question in today's episode is, what are your thoughts on Proppy? You guys have been talking about Proppy a lot. What do you see for the future and the coin?
Yeah, I think Proppy has a lot of potential. I've always liked Proppy. They're a sponsor of our podcast, but I always have liked Proppy because this is the only real estate company on the blockchain. Everyone just fly by nights, these weird ways that you can make money on yield and all this crazy stuff. Proppy is a legit, straightforward company that solves a lot of the problems with titles, frauds, and documentation in real estate, right? It's using the blockchain to do it. So I think Proppy eventually is going to be one of the top coins, if not, at the very top over the next 3 to 4 years.
Yeah, I agree. Real estate is the biggest, I think, sector that the blockchain, other than cross-border payments and banking, that can be disrupted with technology in the blockchain. So that's why I love Proppy as well. And I think they're doing it right. And we personally know the founders and the dev team and everything. So we love the project, and I think it's a good one to keep an eye on. So that's it for this episode. I want to thank each and every one of you for listening and following along. You can find us on Instagram at Crypto Trends Podcast and on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. We're so excited for 2024 and beyond, and to share all of our insights with all of you. If you love the podcast, please share it with a friend and give us a 5-star review, and we'll see you next week.